If you were or knew anyone who was an active gamer in the late 2000s and going into the 2010s, you would know that everyone has fond memories of playing Borderlands 2. It has one of the most enduring fan bases of any shooter from that era. There have only been a handful of Borderlands games that have been released, so the franchise is still very new. Last year, a bunch of my friends invited me into a group chat where we all played Borderlands 2 co-op on Switch. This was the first time I played this game, and I wonder why I didn't play it back in the day. I've always heard raving reviews of how great the loot system was, and even when I was going through the comments left by people on other YouTube videos, it seems like we're all in agreement that Borderlands 2 is one of the greatest shooters ever made. There are so many reasons why this game is beloved, and in this video, I will try to explain this to you as well as share my experience playing this game last year on my Switch. To start, the game has a unique cel-shaded art style, which combines 3D models with comic book-like textures. It sets it apart from other shooters, giving it a distinctive and memorable look. It's been copied by other games over the years, but it seems to be the example of how to do the style right. The clever writing and comedic dialogue contribute to its beloved status. The original soundtrack is impeccable. There is so much effort put into this game from everyone involved on the development side, and the result is a game that looks and sounds great. The game is also packed with pop culture references from movies to TV shows to other video games. Fans love discovering these nods to their favorite media. And also, Handsome Jack is often cited as one of the best video game villains. His charismatic yet despicable personality makes him a central figure in the game's appeal. In the past, I've played other games like the original Destiny and Rage, and I've realized after playing those games and playing this game that those games took so much inspiration and ideas from Borderlands 2. In the case of Destiny, they took a lot of things from Borderlands 2, but then they tried to make it monetized, and it really didn't work. The developer of Destiny even said that they were making a combination of Borderlands 2 and Halo, and I love how this game has this offline MMO quality to it, meaning you can play this game offline and you'll always find stuff, and every item you pick up doesn't have to register with a server. It's actually fun that way. The server will never go offline. You can just do peer-to-peer or whatever, and it's great. Borderlands 2 is a loot-driven game with a vast array of weapons and equipment, making it a highly replayable game as players hunt for the perfect gear, encouraging long-term engagement. The entire game can be played cooperatively. Finding and sharing loot was really fun. I remember playing with people and we'd destroy a boss and the loot would just explode out of the boss, and then we'd all argue on what to get. It was really fun. I remember my friend giving me a powerful slag machine gun way before I was even able to use it, but I kept it in my vault, and then I leveled up until the point where I could use it, and that machine gun carried me through many playthroughs of the game. As you play and complete the story, you are given the ability to replay the game again at a higher difficulty, which means the game is endlessly replayable. With that, the guns you find also scale up too, which means you always have to cycle out guns in your inventory. I love playing shooters where you have to constantly readapt your strategy, or your gun runs out and you have to throw it down and pick another one up. The Call of Duty campaigns were really big on that, and I've never played Fortnite, but I imagine Fortnite's like that too. I know, I've never played Fortnite. What?
Oh my god, you never played Fortnite?
I remember the moment when the gun he gave me no longer was effective and I had to find another one. It was a sad moment. I had to part ways with it. I think it was called the Cutting Edge Bitch or something, which is a hilarious name for the gun names are hilarious too. They're also randomly generated, which is great. I'll talk more about the guns later on in the video because it was a very huge draw, haha, pun intended, to the game.
Yo, Aussie Way, I'm streaming myself gambling. Here I am. Yo, my name's Aussie Way.
So I've never played any of the game's DLCs. I only got the base version on Switch. The game's DLC packs includes Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep and Mr. Torque's Campaign of Carnage, and they've been highly praised for their creativity and storytelling, enriching the game and its experience. I remember my friends telling me that there's only certain guns that you can only get from certain drops from certain bosses, certainly, and I would definitely love to play those in the future. Even years after its release, Borderlands 2 maintains an active and passionate fan base, showcasing its enduring popularity, and the game's PC version has a dedicated modding community that continues to create new content and enhance the game's features. I've seen this game go on sale on Steam many times, and I plan on picking it up next time I see it. So the best deal I ever saw was a bundle that included everything, DLC, skins, literally everything that's ever been released for the game officially for $20, and that also includes the ability ability to play mods and run the game at max settings with mouse controls, because the game's like 10 years old. It'll run on like most computers now. And that's $20. That's like a fraction of the cost of a modern FPS game. The base game alone is worth the money I spent. I bought it for the Switch in a bundle with the pre-sequel, but I never even started it up because I've had so much fun with Borderlands 2 that I'd rather just continue playing that game. There are still people making content and streaming this game to this day, so you'll always find people to play with. The community is thriving, and if you're from the Borderlands 2 community, I hope you appreciate this video. So the original title for this video was going to be Borderlands 2 is my favorite shooter, which is quite a statement, honestly. I loved Call of Duty and Halo, and I played many great shooters, but I remember having more fun with this one. I'm currently playing Deep Rock Galactic, and I consider that game to be my favorite shooter. I'll talk about that in a future video. So I can't say in clear conscience that this game is my favorite shooter. I might change my opinion once I get the PC version. As of right now, I consider this game second best shooter I've ever played. I sometimes feel like the golden age of gaming has been in the past, but playing this game in 2022 is a reminder to me that it doesn't matter when a game is released. Any game can click with you at any time. I'm very thankful for my friend's recommendation to this game. Now it's time to talk about the best aspect of this game, the guns. Every gun is a random RNG roll with something like 1 million different combinations. Every gun has its own personality and abilities, so weapons can have various elements that can add unique effects and damage types to your attacks. There are 6 primary weapon elements. Incinerary deals fire damage over time to enemies. It's effective against flesh-based targets. Shock deals electric damage, effective against shields and robotic enemies. Corrosive deals acid damage, effective against armored enemies and can corrode their armor over time. Explosive causes explosion damage, effective against various enemy types. There's also non-elemental guns, which are regular bullets without elemental effect but can still have special weapon properties. And then there's slag. Coating enemies with slag makes them more vulnerable to other types of damage. These element effects can also be found on grenades and other equipment in the game, adding variety to the combat strategies as you face different types of enemies. Additionally, certain characters and skills in the game can enhance the effectiveness of special elemental damage types. So slag is a very unique concept to Borderlands 2, and I'm just going to tell you briefly about it. Once an enemy is slagged and turns purple, they become more vulnerable to other types of damage. So here's the most effective strategy. You start by hitting enemies with slag, or whatever can cover them as slag, and then you switch to a high damage weapon of a different element, depending on the target. For example, like you use Incinerary against flesh-based enemies, Shock against shields, Corrosive against robots, to deal additional damage. And in the higher difficulty playthroughs, this is a very crucial way to defeat your enemies. You can't just spray and pray to get through. Slag doesn't deal significant damage on its own, but it significantly boosts the damage from other sources. Like for example, one player can focus on slagging and the other players can concentrate on dealing the damage with the effective element. It's kind of like a little bit of like Pokemon, you know, the fire versus water, grass versus fire kind of deal. That's a cool system in the game. I have had to call on my higher level friends to help me through some parts of the game. So make sure you have some friends in high places. In Borderlands 2, weapons are manufactured by different in-game companies. It goes deeper. It's a deep gun system, and each manufacturer has its own unique characteristics that affect the attributes and performance of the procedurally generated weapons. Here's an overview of the main weapon manufacturers and their traits. Jacobs weapons are known for their high damage and fire rate. They have a distinctive Old West aesthetic, often featuring wooden stocks and cowboy-like design. Jacobs guns typically have low magazine sizes and no elemental effects, but excel in raw damage output. Vladoff weapons are all about high fire rates and large magazine sizes. They're known for their rapid, automatic, and burst fire modes. While Vladoff guns may not have the highest damage per shot, they make up for it with their impressive rates of fire. Malaan weapons are elemental specialists. They have a higher chance of elemental effects and can switch between 2 elemental types. These guns are versatile, allowing you to adapt to various enemies' weaknesses. However, they usually have slower fire rates. Hyperion guns have an interesting feature. Their accuracy improves as you continue to fire, which is the opposite of most other guns. They tend to have high magazine sizes, but may start with lower accuracy and become more precise over time. Toor Toor. Those weapons can be thrown like grenades when their magazines are empty, exploding upon impact. They have a chuck reload mechanic where you throw the weapon and it creates a new one, but this consumes the remaining ammo in the magazine. And I always thought this feature was hilarious. Just like you throw the gun when you're done with it and it explodes. What? A little bit spastic. Bandit weapons often have large magazines but lower accuracy and slower reload times. They have a more bullets mentality, emphasizing sustained fire and capacity over precision. Dull weapons can switch between semi-automatic and burst fire modes. They typically have good accuracy, making them versatile for different combat scenarios. Torque, Torga weapons are all about explosive damage. They fire gyrojet projectiles and they explode on impact, dealing substantial damage. These guns are ideal for close quarters combat and pack a punch, but have slow projectile travel times. So the choice of manufacturer plays a role in the playstyle of you and your character. Different character and builds may favor different manufacturers based on their abilities. So Borderlands 2's variety of manufacturers provide a wide range of options to suit your style. That's it. This is the end of the video. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. If you haven't played Borderlands 2, then have I convinced you? It's a great game with a lot of replay value. Now that the game is portable on Switch and complete on PC, what are you waiting for? I've heard good things about Borderlands 1, 3, pre-sequel, Tiny Tina, and Tales from the Borderlands, but I've not personally played any of them. Like I said earlier in the video, I would much rather play this game again with friends and have a great time. Thank you for watching my video to the end. If you would be so kind as to subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. Let's get this channel to 200 subscribers. Yeah, I will leave you now with this random voicemail I got from my friend 2 years ago. It's fall related, so I felt like it worked. And hopefully, I think we're in winter now here in Canada, but I want to pretend it's still fall. So anyway, I hope you guys have a good one.
Sal. Oh my god, Sal, I just found out there's a lake called Pumpkin Spice nearby. Pumpkin Spice fucking lake! Like, you need to hurry up and get here so we can all go for a fucking fall walk, get some Starbucks, get some earth tone colored knit fucking sweaters, and then get some, I don't have Ugg boots, but I got Bloodstones, and I think that's good enough, and I think we should just get the big scarves, and we should just be a bunch of fall bitches. Please.